Kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. Kids are resilient. Guys, no matter how many times I say this phrase to myself, I can't trick myself into believing it because it's a lie. So, hey, what is up? This is your girl Stephanie, aka The Limitless Babe, reminding you today and every day that you are limitless. So now you guys know what the topic is, kids and resiliency. So I feel like it's a very common phrase in this day and age for people to use the excuse, oh, but kids are resilient, particularly in like the family court dynamics and things like that. People love that phrase, kids are resilient. Oh, it's okay, they'll get over it. Kids are resilient. If kids are resilient, as we say, in their own right, then what is your explanation for how many effed up adults there are running rampant? Think about that. Think about it. I mean, I don't know a person who has a personality disorder, who is just wild and crazy, who is cruel and loves to inflict pain on others, that wasn't at one point a child with inner wounding, a child that received abandonment issues, a child that has a mother wound, a father wound, a child that has an insecure attachment style. And all of these things stem from childhood trauma, which in itself proves that children in their own right are not resilient unless you give them the tools. So the good news here is that this is not, hope is lost. Okay, this is not a topic where we say that, oh, that's it, that our kids just aren't resilient and they're gonna suffer and it's all our fault and that's it. No, the good news is that if you know this information, you can move accordingly. You can be the change in this world. Because here's the thing. A lot of people complain about how life is, how the state of the world is, and how humanity behaves. But what we forget is that we are so powerful in making that shift. And I know that when we think of it in our own generation, that can feel very overwhelming because you think to yourself, well, yeah, I could be the change that I want to see in the world, but I'm only one person, right? Well, how do we combat that? We start with the next generation. Well, incorrect. We start with ourselves still, because everything has to start with yourself, right? You make the shifts in yourself, and then you teach and implement that with the next generation. Because if we can get our hands on that next generation and mold them to have the tools to be resilient and mold them to have the skills necessary to overcome these challenges, guys, the world will change drastically. But again, we got to start with us and then with them. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that in a lot of my different videos, I talk about these things. There's some shorts, there's some regular videos. I'm going to try to link as many as I can in the description box below for you guys, just so that you have some, things to go off of. But it's super important that we teach our children inner work, which I know you guys are always like, well, what's inner work? What is that? Well, it's a lot of like introspective looks. That made no sense. I'm sorry, guys. It's a lot of looking introspectively and authentically evaluating what it is about ourselves that needs work and making those shifts. It's a lot of discomfort. It's a lot of growing pains. It's a lot of doing the uncomfortable part of looking inward and seeing the yucky parts of ourselves that we don't like and making the necessary changes, which is very uncomfortable and very scary and very intimidating. But when we do that, and when we teach our kids how to do that, again, the side effects are astronomical. Like, we could change the world if we did this, okay? So that's important. Teach your kids inner work. Teach your kids emotional fitness, okay? Give them the tools and the skills necessary to understand their own emotions and to help them pass rather than hold them in so that they lash out at other people. Okay, that's something that I do with my daughter for sure, is that, as I've talked about in human design, she is a manifester. Manifestors are amazing, but manifestors struggle with anger and frustration. Okay, so when her flow is disrupted, she can have outbursts. And rather than shaming her and telling her that that's wrong, because that's a part of her, I give her the tools to find healthy ways to release it so that she doesn't hold it in and then lash out at the wrong people, right? So we got to teach them emotional fitness, inner work, emotional fitness, breath work, somatic healing, giving them the tools to help the emotions pass through their body quickly. Super important. And beyond all the things that we teach them, guys, you have to take a big look at yourself and say, okay, what kind of a parent am I? Okay, am I honoring them? Am I honoring their feelings? Am I having the uncomfortable conversations with my kids? Am I really teaching them? Am I showing them by example? These things are all huge, especially think about your moves for their early formative years, because our attachment styles are developed in the very early years of our life. That's when a lot of abandonment wounds are created, which again, if you follow my channel for a while, you know about narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse stems primarily from abandonment wounds that person experienced in their early childhood. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes it is genetic, sometimes there's other outside circumstances, but for the most part, it's usually developed from a core abandonment wound that this person experienced, usually from a primary caregiver, that now they don't feel safe. So they feel that they need to have this mask on to portray themselves in a different way in order to be loved, and they leave and hurt other people before they get a chance to have that experience themselves. So again, it's super important that we take a look inside and see, okay, what kind of a parent am I? Am I there for my kid? Am I really giving them the tools necessary? Am I honoring their feelings? And guys, if we can do all of these things, then I could honestly change my opinion on this phrase about children being resilient. But right now, with the current state of the world, I cannot. I just can't, okay? Your kids are only going to be resilient if you make them that way, if you teach them to be that way, if you support them and hold them and give them the tools necessary. So it's really all up to you. What do you want for this future? What do you want for their future? What do you want this world to look like in 10, 15, 20 years? I know what I want, and I know what I'm working towards. And I hope you're with me. And if you are, drop me a comment down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, like this video, comment, share, please. The more movement we have on these videos, the more the channel gets noticed and the more we can spread this message of positivity and shift and change and growth and make this world a better place together. So I want to thank you for watching. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you stay limitless. Love you guys. Bye.